The name of my business, Beyond Words Productions. Guess who came up with that name? No, Rachel Jane. I had my business before I met Rachel Jane. It was my mom. My mom said that knowing that I like to tell heartfelt and emotive stories, that if a picture says 1,000 words, my videos will leave people beyond words. So thanks, Mom, for that. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as leaders in this room, I need people to say yes to me. I need people to remember me. I need people to feel my impact and feel my passion behind what I do. Otherwise, I am just another videographer in this space. How many of us leaders, business owners, are wanting that same kind of impact felt in our work? All of us should be raising our hands. I'm going to run through, in the next 25 minutes, different stories that I've done for businesses that have worked for them, that have generated revenue, and that made them unforgettable. Because I really believe that when you know your why, you know your way. And there's so many people in this room that do not tackle video because of many reasons. They don't have time, they don't like to be on camera, whatever the reason is. It is rooted in some sort of fear. And I get it. I wasn't always on stage speaking to people about this. Like, there was one point where I couldn't even look people in the eye when I talked to them. I was so shy and introverted. And then I learned that if you don't let go of the fear, then you're gonna let go of the opportunity. So I'm hoping that through my stories today, I'm gonna challenge you to let go of that fear and really be in your why. So before I teach you a lot of these elements that teach you how to tell a good story, I would be remiss as a storyteller if I did not tell you a bit of my own story. I grew up in a middle-class home in Sacramento, California, to an abusive father and a mother who was too afraid and complacent to ever leave. Growing up in that home, that environment, I developed a lot of habits and skills that would keep me safe as a child. Staying to myself, being quiet, being out of the way. And a lot of those skills that kept me safe as a child, I carried into adulthood, but they kept me small as an adult. And I always knew that I wanted to be seen. I just didn't know how. So I became a TV news reporter, where I was certainly seen. But I was still being seen for what I was, and still not for who I was. I was helping other people elevate their stories. I learned how to tell really powerful things that people could grab onto, because news is a business. We have to make people watch the entire minute and a half that we're given on TV. And so through that job, I learned the whole system of what it took to make a compelling story that people could act on. And in the news world, I'm called an MMJ. To the rest of the world, I'm known as a reporter. And MMJ stands for multimedia journalist, which means that I did everything from start to finish. I found the story ideas, I set up the interviews, filmed it, edited it, did the on-camera thing, and then wrote up the web article for the news station's website every day on deadline. So I saw, both in front of and behind the camera, all the elements that made a story worth watching. So it was really good boot camp for what I'm doing now as a solopreneur and an entrepreneur. But because there was still this void in me that I had in news, I knew that I couldn't do that forever. It was a good means to an end, but it really wasn't fulfilling my soul. So after 6 years in news, I eventually left, and this was 2021, so we're coming out of COVID, and I got a job working for another company that was headquartered on the East Coast, but they were starting to develop different businesses in all states around the country. So I helped them launch their business in Wisconsin, which is where I was when I left news. 2 days into me working this job, I got a threatening email from my attorney, from the attorney at the news station, saying that if I did not quit this job, they were going to sue me, citing a non-compete, which I thought was completely ridiculous because what I was doing at this new company was helping promote businesses and events to help boost the economy post-COVID. It was basically a newsletter that people would sign up for to get an email once a day to help support local business and get people out again. And I'm like, this is not in competition with what the news is doing. This is ridiculous. So I ignored the email. 2 weeks later, they sent a follow-up email, even more threatening this time. How dare you ignore us? If you do not respond to us, we are going to sue you. And so I said, okay. I brought this to the CEO of the company that I was working with, and I told him what was happening. And he's like, is this about a non-compete? And I said, yeah. And he goes, let me talk to them. We have, in every other place that we have launched our company across the United States, we have actually hired TV news reporters in several other cities. And once we explain to the news stations what we do, you're gonna be fine. So I said, okay, cool. A couple more weeks passes by. So I'm there for about a month now. And I get on a call with the CEO to get an update about where we stand. So I log into Zoom, he's there, and HR is on the call. That's not good. And he basically told me that the news station did not care what they said, that my new company offered them free advertising, an exclusive partnership, explained what they did, things that true competition would not do, and that they didn't care, that if they did not fire me that day, that they would come after both of us. And I did not have enough experience, leverage in this new company for them to go to court over this. So I lost my job. I had no money. I had no backup plan, nothing to do. But the partner that I was with at the time was an entrepreneur. He owned a home remodeling business. And he told me, you know, you don't need to work for someone to make the impact. Like, you're really good at telling stories. You can do this on your own. So that conversation kickstarted me into starting my own LLC in Wisconsin. But I was still under the legal terms of the contract from the news station. It is applicable for a year after I leave. So I was trying to build my business. I was going to networking events and I was telling people what I did. And every single time I ended the conversation, I said, please don't tell anybody that I'm doing this. Which is exactly the opposite of what you want to do when you're starting a business, but I had to. And it wasn't until that year passed. I couldn't make my website, I couldn't do social, I couldn't do anything. And I couldn't have people do word of mouth for me, so it sucked for a year. I had to work my tail off. But after that year, I was able to share the story of what brought me to do what I'm doing now. And when that happened, when I finally shared that story, my business took off. I mean, I was making so much money. I had the house, the cars, the dogs, the everything, and it worked. And I knew I had a formula that I could repeat for businesses. So I want to show you a few videos now that I've done for businesses that have really worked for them. Is that all right? You guys want to see some of those? Okay. So I know that there's so many different industries that are represented in this room, and I just want to start by saying no matter what video you see on the screen, no matter what industry, it doesn't matter what they do, because that is never what my stories are about. This can be repeated for any business, okay? So the first video that I want to show you is for a video that I did for a construction company that has nothing to do with construction.
I love construction. I used to go in the Goodwill garbage can, dig out a bunch of old bikes, and I used to take them apart and put them together as a kid. So I've always loved using my hands and being part of things. I didn't have the best upbringing. I got into a lot of trouble as a young teenager in high school. From that, I went through a military academy and actually graduated high school early when I was on track to fail everything. So being a troubled youth and kind of coming out of the hardship of growing up around drugs, alcohol, abuse. When I got out of the military academy, I graduated and joined the Army, went through another boot camp. After I graduated boot camp, I went to Iraq. I was in Iraq for 6 months. I joined a battalion that was over there already. So when I came back from Iraq, I got in a car accident. My best friend passed away, and another innocent person lost their lives as well. I have a lot of remorse and guilt and hardship, and I still think about it a lot to this day. I can't change the past. I can't change the mistake that I made. I can't make it right to the people that were impacted. But what I can do is continue to move forward and try and make an impact in other people's lives. I know there's a lot of kids, I know there's a lot of youth that might not have the best guidance growing up. And I want to show them with my story of going back in the past, looking at my mistakes and how you can overcome, and show them things so they don't make the same mistakes that I did. So that's very important to me. And going with Frontline, myself and my team, is you are contributing to empowering people. I like to put things together and solve problems and fix things. I want to be a resource for the community. I want to do good things for people. And so being part of the community is a huge part of that, because if you take care of the people around you, everything else will take care of itself.
Happens when you start with why. Most construction companies, home remodelers, whatever, are doing videos that are like windows, doors, siding, special half off, whatever. If I don't own a home, and if I am never going to own a home, I don't care. This video advertises to human beings. That is my market. You cannot make a client out of everyone, but you can make an advocate out of anyone. And that is the goal of my stories. Sure, it'll totally lead to clients. Every time I share this video with a room of people, so many people are asking for his business cards. And when he started playing this video in all the ways that I told him, like, this is how you distribute it, this is who you get it in front of, this man saw like $400,000 come in a couple of months when he shared his why, because he stood out. He gave people something to be remembered by. He let go of the fear and grabbed onto the opportunity by sharing something super vulnerable about himself. The next video that I'm going to show you was done for a realtor, and I'm sure many of us know thousands and thousands of realtors that are all doing the same thing. This realtor moved to California from Chicago, and obviously there's a lot of competition. So she wanted to find a way, how do I stand out? How do I make people remember me when I don't have a network to build on? So this is what we came up with for her.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thank you. Getting ready to take a look at another property?
Yes.
All right, so I'm excited to show you this one. To me, real estate is nothing about the transaction. It's all about service and heart. I'm the product of immigrant parents. My parents came to the US in 1976. My mother was a nurse. My dad was super involved in the community. I saw my parents work incredibly hard to build themselves up in a new country, far away from their families, get a home. So the values were really about hard work, doing the best you can, showing up every day, and they modeled that. People come to the US for a variety of reasons. Working with somebody who understands how hard it is to come from a different country, to figure out where to find a home and how to do it, is what I really think I do best. It's what I really want to be able to support. I know you talked about an island being really important to you in the kitchen.
Yes, you cook a lot
Yes.
in our family, and it's like the main gather point for all of us.
I understand firsthand how much there is to learn and to figure out. And so I'm here to be that guide. And you don't always have to go for that dream house. This gets you in. And once you can get in, you're building equity, which can then help you down the line. Teaching and kind of guiding a new immigrant family through all of that is some of what I do. It definitely tugs on me because I have parents that went through it. I saw how hard it was for them to just learn, again, different systems, different everything. I think about my parents a lot. They've passed on. I think they would definitely view this as kind of following in their footsteps of providing service to people, being a point person when others don't know where to go or how to start. I think they'd be happy, to know that it's continuing on. It's about being a resource. It's about guiding people, educating them, supporting them on what's the biggest decision for, I'd say, 98% of the population.
So even though her story focuses on her love and passion for helping immigrants who are trying to navigate their own American dream, that's her niche. That doesn't mean that she can only sell to that population. This gives her something to be remembered by, and that's all we're trying to do. It gives you a great ROI, but also ROA, which is return on attention, and that's what we are all fighting for in a competitive business market. So we've actually done several other videos of this, just capturing different moments of the process. But this video in particular, I asked her if she could give me a quick testimonial on what she got from this after she started sharing it in the ways that I guided her to do so. And this is what she said.
In terms of what your video has done for my business, just this month I have written over 10 contracts. Really excited about that. It looks like 3 are ready to go. And aside from that, I know that when the video is shown, the one that you've shot, I am always asked questions and really given very positive feedback about how much they've learned and how just interested they were to learn about the service that I really work to provide. So thank you so much for capturing that and, helping me grow my own business.
10 contracts, and 3 of them closed, and she had nothing. There's a way to distribute these videos. It's beyond just posting on social media. And if she got just 1 client from this, it pays for itself and then some. And this is a tool that you have for years and years and years. And it's not catered to social media, because social media is like, you have to keep posting. You have to keep coming up with new stuff, and that's like not what I want to do. I want one legacy piece that people will remember that you can use over and over and over again to generate revenue. The last video that I'm going to show you is a video that I did for a nonprofit in Wisconsin. And this is my favorite one, honestly, and there was no professional equipment used in this whatsoever. This was a recorded Zoom call and cell phone pictures and videos. Stories that she already had in her business that I'm sure a lot of you probably already have. You just don't know how to piece it together and make people feel something. So, recorded Zoom call, cell phone pictures and videos, and one of the most impactful stories that I have done.
I am Amy Jandrisovitz, and I am the owner of A Doll Like Me. I make dolls for kids who don't see themselves on the store shelves. I started A Doll Like Me 10 years ago. The concept came when I was doing social work with kids in pediatric oncology. There were so many kids that weren't able to look into the face of a doll and see their own. They really do look at this as an extension of themselves.
Do you like it? Yeah. Let her hold it. Give her a hug. Aww.
You know what kind of power that has for a child. And I never would have imagined where it would be today. I didn't realize how I would be able to advocate on a worldwide level for what inclusion and representation would look like for a child. Since becoming a nonprofit, no family has had to pay for their own dolls, and they have gone to 35 countries and all 50 states. I've made over 1,000 dolls, and I've never actually seen a child get one. But parents typically will send videos or pictures.
What do you think about that doll? You love it?
Who does that look like? It's Eli! Yes! Let me see. Can you turn him around so I can see?
Show mama. Show mama, look.
Does that look like you? Yes. Oh my goodness. That's so cool. That's so cool. Do you love him?
A doll like me. Because everyone should have a doll that looks like they do. Yeah. A doll with a doll.
Pink top on, it'd be just like you.
Look at her hands, right?
Look at her hands.
They're just like yours.
Wow.
Wow.
Just wow.
I've made dolls for a number of kids who have passed on, and the families still use the doll as a reminder of the child. One family that sent a picture of their baby's doll on the grave. It shows you that this is more than just the doll to the kids and then to the families as well. I think that we all feel this desire to make a difference. In the bigger picture, these kids deserve to see themselves in the narrative all the time. They just don't. And we can think of a million reasons not to. You know, I'm too busy, I'm too old, I'm broke, I'm whatever it is. But these dolls and what's happened to them speaks to what happens when you say yes.
That's usually the one that gets tears in the room. Yeah, and you see why. She could have made a video that just talked about, I make dolls for kids who don't see themselves on the store shelves. I use sustainable, eco-friendly materials. You know, that's her what. This shows why. This shows her impact, and there was nothing professional about this other than me editing it together. That shows that you don't need a huge production company to make a huge difference. If I gave all of you access to my $10,000 camera, that doesn't suddenly make you good storytellers. It happens in here. You want to be so top of mind that people are right there to lean in and say yes to you, donate to you, work with you, whatever it is. And I had to learn that lesson twice. Remember when I was going around telling you that my business took off? It was super successful. I had so many things going on. Well, behind closed doors, I was actually keeping a secret. And this is the second time that I had to learn the lesson of share your story. While my business was taking off, while I was out in the world promoting peace, love, positivity, and empathy, behind closed doors, I was experiencing everything but that. My partner was extremely abusive to me, and I denied it for so long until I just couldn't anymore. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror without seeing my mom and finally understanding why she never left and how hard it is for women to leave these types of situations. But I could no longer settle for abuse for the opportunity of being loved. So I knew that leaving was going to cost me a lot of money, but staying would have cost me so much more. So I made the decision to leave everything. I lost my house, I lost my cars, I lost the dogs, I lost everything that I had built. And I drove 2,000 miles across the country, back to California, back to the very home that broke me, and I had to learn how to heal in that home for the last year and a half. And I would go out to networking events doing the same thing that I did when I built my business the first time, because I knew how to network, and I would go to up to 5 networking events a day, crying in the car in between each one, telling people, hi, I'm Jamie, I'm a videographer, I do heartfelt and emotional storytelling for businesses and nonprofits. Hi, I'm Jamie, an introvert's worst nightmare. But I had to do it, and I was just 8 months of no income, living in this home, trying to heal my personal life and grow my business at the same time, and it was harrowing. And then I realized, I'm still telling people what I do, and I am blending in. I am just another videographer, especially in California, where the competition and the number of people that have access to cameras is far greater than what I dealt with in Wisconsin. Duh, Jamie, tell your story. What brought you back home? Why are you here? Reignite that passion so that people can feel that when you are networking with them. 8 months in, I had no income. The last 4 months of last year, when I started doing it, I still hit 6 figures. Incredible comeback. And it's because I started telling my story. I know it works. I have felt it, I have seen it, I have helped other businesses do it, and I'm hoping that you all can realize how all in you need to be on vulnerability, authenticity, and leadership, lighting the way for others so that you can be seen, be known, and be unforgettable. If you know that you are making an impact in what you are doing and it is not landing and it is not scaling it the way that you know that it can, you're being overlooked, you're being forgotten, you're blending in, I'm going to invite you to scan the code that's going to come up on this next screen. And that code will allow you to schedule a 30-minute call with me so that we can help you find your story, maybe put together something like this so that you can be believed, beloved, unforgettable, and magnetic. I'll give you just a second for those folks. And what's going around to your tables is also the QR code in case you guys lose it. Yes. Sorry, I know you're trying to take a picture. I just walked in your shot. If you do storytelling right and you work with me on uncovering what that is, I know it works. And for the people who are in this room saying, I don't know what to say, I don't like being on camera, my background as a TV news reporter, I think, really helps me help you bring that story out. If I can console people in the middle of breaking, chaotic news to go on camera for the first time ever and be camera ready in the midst of that chaos, I know I can help you tell your story. So if you feel that you are making that impact and you want me to help you scale that impact, you can find me at the table downstairs. Thank you.